Good morning, everyone. Happy November 7th. This is the Town of Scituate and weekly update. My name is Karen Canfield from the Select Board, and I will turn it right over to our Town Administrator, Jim Bedreau.
Good morning. Hard to believe it's November with this beautiful weather, but we'll take it for another day or so. Rather than start with water this week, let's start with tomorrow is Election Day. Tuesday, November 8th, the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the high school gymnasium. Absentee voting is still available until noontime today for people who cannot make it to the polls tomorrow. The town clerk's office will close at noontime to prepare for tomorrow's election. It is important for people to note if you received a mail-in ballot, they must be returned to the town hall by tomorrow at 8, either in person or on the drop box out front. Ballots returned after 8 o'clock will not be counted. Do not bring those ballots to the high school. They come back here to the town hall. So please remember that, and we'll avoid some confusion for tomorrow. The water update, the reservoir levels keep going up. We're at minus 30. Last week, we're at minus 31.5. Tac factory is at plus 5, which is up from 1.5 of last week. Average daily demand, 1.089 million gallons per day, up very slightly from 1.086 last week. So we'll kind of get into that late fall number. We think that'll fall a little bit more in the cold weather, but that's where we are for demand. We are still in a mild drought. We remind people, if you have brown water, please let the water department know. There are data points for us, and there may be something particularly in your neighborhood that's causing the issue. We can come out and fix it. If you are experiencing brown water, we do have water at the water treatment plant for you. It is not for people who just want free water. If you are experiencing brown water, you can go down to the water department during normal business hours, and we will provide you with some drinking water. Rainfall over the last 7 days was 0.55 inches measured at the plant. Last week, we had a meeting scheduled for the Oceanside and Turner Drive seawall project. Unfortunately, that meeting had to be rescheduled as our engineer had COVID. We felt it was very important that the engineer be there in person to answer questions for the residents. So we have rescheduled that till next Tuesday at 6 p.m. That's November 15th at the EOC, which is the Public Safety Complex on Chief Justice Cushing Highway. Again, this is for Oceanside and Turner. This is not the Cedar Point seawall, which is currently before the Army Corps of Engineers. We finished our paving on Glades and Bailey's Causeway. The contractor will be back the next week or so at night to do the striping, but that is done for the paving. So please be careful down there, slow down. I know people like to speed up when we do repaving. We are also finishing the Glades Road seawall project. That should be done this week. The contractor has some minor punch work and other things to do, but we should be finishing up that week, and that they should be out of there this week, which means Glades Causeway will go back to a two-way as it does this time of year once that project is completed. We'll continue to remind people that the Lantern Room is down. Our design engineer team is working on looking at that, and we will make a decision probably at the end of this month whether we can repair the existing Lantern Room or have to build a new one. We'll let people know as that goes forward. Bidding is now scheduled for the end of January to get someone out there when the nice weather starts, and we are scheduled to be done late spring, early fall, early summer of 2023. Veterans Day is this Friday. We remind everybody 11 a.m. the American Legion Post will have a flag ceremony at the Senior Center. That is followed by a Veterans Luncheon at the Senior Center, which will be at noontime. Reservations are required for the luncheon, 617-842-0092 to reserve your spot. It was sold out last year. I expect it to be sold out this year, so please, if you haven't got your reservations, make sure you call in. After the luncheon, the Scituate Food Pantry will be hosting their salute to service on the Senior Center patio from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Desserts, gifts, and music will be provided for veterans by the food pantry. This week, we will see the Sea of Support, the Field of Flags at the Scituate Community Christmas 125 Man Lot. That is to honor all living Scituate veterans, and that'll be on display from the 10th to the 13th. In line with all these Veterans Day activities, the VA van will be at the Senior Center all day on November 9th to help people sign up for benefits, answer questions, and help you with anything you may need that's related to veterans benefits. Happy to report that this past weekend we had our Peggotty Beach seagrass planting. 80 volunteers planted over 10,000 clumps of seagrass in less than 2 hours. So thank you to the Beach Commission and the North-South Rivers Watershed Association for organizing that event. We are still looking for plow drivers, so anybody who's interested, please contact the DPW. And that is what I have for this week.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Pedro. We'll flip it right over to our school superintendent, Mr. Bill Barkett.
Thank you, Ms. Canfield, and good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. We'll start off with a school committee meeting tonight at 6 p.m. And I'll give you some highlights of the agenda if you can make it. If not, we will be posting that on the website, and it is videotaped. That meeting will be taking place in the Scituate High School library at 6 p.m. So we'll have our Celebrate Student Learning from Wampatuck presented tonight. So all the great things happening at Wampatuck for our children will be presented by Principal Reardon, and I'm sure she'll have some special guests, including children. The school committee goals will be voted on this evening, and we'll also have the school improvement plan, including data updates for MCAS and AP for the Scituate High School, which is very important. And the committee will also be updating some policies, which is important work. And finally, I'll be presenting on our communications plan for the year and an update with how things are going with all communications in the district and in our community. As Mr. Boudreau pointed out, Veterans Day this Friday, and there's a lot of great traditions that have returned to our schools to celebrate our heroes and our veterans. I want to thank both our veterans from past and present as we celebrate Veterans Day this week. At each of our schools, we'll be honoring our heroes with lunch with the veterans. Students have invited family members and relatives who are veterans to join the school for either breakfast or lunch, depending on the building. So that'll be an awesome opportunity to connect with our community, our veterans, and our students and staff. At the Gates School, over 50 Gates students had letters, poems, or artwork were selected to be part of the Scituate Community Christmas Sea of Support exhibit this year. So student work will be on display alongside a field of flags representing each of the living veterans in Scituate from Friday, November 11th, this Friday, through Saturday the 13th, Sunday the 13th, so all weekend at the Susan Phippen House. So all students, staff, and community members are welcome and invited to stop in and check that out. It's tournament time for fall athletics, and we're happy to report that many of our teams were involved. Cross country will be competing in the divisional races this Saturday, the 12th, at Stanley Park in Westfield. The race begins at 10 a.m. Cheerleading finished second place in the Patriot League cheerleading competition this past Saturday. Congratulations. And they will be competing in the regionals this Sunday, the 13th, at Dexbury High School. That competition begins at 10 a.m. Girls soccer won their Division II preliminary game against Falmouth 3-1. They will play in the round 2 on Monday, today, at Canton High School at 5 p.m. Volleyball lost their first Division II game against Westfield last week, but it was their first time ever making the tournament. So we commend them for that huge accomplishment. And field hockey won their Division II round of 32 game against Agawam 2-1, and they will play in the round of 16 at Masconomet on Wednesday this week at 2:30. Finally, football won their Division IV round of 16, 35-6 over Northampton on Friday. They will play in the Elite 8 round on this Friday, the 11th at 6 p.m. at Holliston High School. And finally, just a few sailor shout-outs. It was a privilege for me to join our STEM teacher, Ms. Dorgan's fourth grade class at Jenkins this week. It blew me away that the students were in the middle of learning the engineering process for building windmills. So in learning about the environment at the same time. So really great stuff, really authentic type of learning that has real world applications in the fourth grade. So thank you to Ms. Dorgan and the class for inviting me in. I really enjoyed it. And I was honored also to attend the Scituate Educational Foundation Seaside Stories event on Saturday with my wife. We had a great night out, and in case you were curious, the SEF, or Scituate Education Foundation, does a lot for our community, and especially our schools. It's an organization that funds innovative educational grants, with about 70% of funds going to the Scituate Public Schools. So please pay attention for future fundraisers. We'd love for you to support them. That's my report for this week. Everyone have a great week, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent. So much going on around town. Quick rundown of the meetings that will be happening. Just a reminder, you can find all agenda items, all agendas, and how to get to the meetings or Zoom in on the Town of Scituate website. Tonight, 6 o'clock, Conservation will be meeting. Tomorrow, as Mr. Boudreau mentioned, is state election from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm sorry, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So please come down to the high school and vote. We still will have town meetings tomorrow. 5:30 is financial forecast, The select board meets at 6:30, and we will be discussing a proposal for Indigenous Peoples Day. We begin our fiscal 23 budget review process. We are also going to be meeting an executive session to talk about the proposed shellfish aquaculture program. On Wednesday at 6 o'clock, the Beach Commission will be meeting. And again, thank you so much to the commission and to the watershed and to our conservation agent, Corey Miles, for the amazing work at Peggotty this weekend. 6:30 Wednesday, capital planning meeting. 7 o'clock, Commission on Disabilities. On Thursday, the planning board will meet at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, advisory committee. Also at 7 o'clock will be the Historic Society. We'll be having a talk at GAR Hall on the Boston Fire. You can go to their website to learn about that. And Sunday, there is a free program that I really wanted to highlight from 1 to 3 at the Gates Middle School. Power of Prevention will be presented by our FACS team. It's a really, as a mom who's gone through 3 teenagers, it's a really great program, and I encourage you to go. That's it from the town of Scituate for this week. Please remember to vote. Thank you to everyone that has worked so hard to honor our veterans for the coming weekend, and have a great week.